which may assist in refreshing your memory on that. But before I get to that, can I ask you to have a look, and it'll come up on the screen, at BCG's statement to the Royal Commission, paragraphs 47 and 48. So that's the foot of page 11, ringtail 11. So do you see that BCG said that after my mother told me about what my father had done to my older sister, it occurred to me that I should check with my two younger sisters if he had ever done anything to them. Together, my mother and I spoke to my younger sisters. They were about 5 and 7 or 8 at the time. Both of them said to me, "Yes, Dad has been rude." I remember my youngest sister saying words to the effect, "He put his penis between my legs when we were laying down in the lounge room watching TV." I remember my other younger sister saying words to the effect of, "He made me have a shower with him and he touched me and massaged my pee in the shower." And then in 48, BCG said, "My mother came with me to tell the elders about my younger sisters. I remember that Ron DeRoy said to us, 'We don't want to talk to your sisters because they are too young to know what they are talking about.' This response made me so upset because irrespective of their ages, my sisters were victims too, and the abuse should have been considered by the elders." Now, do you remember that report by BCG and her mother to you and the other elders about her younger sisters?
No, I do not.
I'll take it in saying you don't remember it. You're not saying that BCG is wrong about her memory of it.
See, my recollection is that we were handling that situation at that judicial committee, and I don't recall that at all coming out of that judicial committee.
So you just don't recall it, is that it?
I do not recall.
You're not saying it didn't happen?
If that had happened, that would have given us more witnesses to follow through on, and then we would have handled that. But my recollection is that is not the case.
Let me understand. So you had a judicial committee already formed, chaired by you, is that right?
That's right.
And it had Mr. Bowditch and Mr. Ally as the other two members.
That's correct.
And it was considering some allegations with regard to BCH, that's BCG's father, BCH's intentions with regard to another woman, is that right?
That's correct.
And you were in the process of investigating the issues that arose around that.
That's correct.
And you recall that in the context of that, BCG and her then fiance, I think is BCI, is that right? BCJ, reported, what you remember, an incident about the father trying to break the door to get into the shower while BCG was in the shower, is that right?
I do recall it.
And you say you don't remember more?
I don't remember more than that.
About BCG's allegations with regard to her father?
No.
But you remember enough to say that it was her allegations against his, and on that basis you weren't able to resolve them?
That's right. It was one person's word against another.
Yes. Now, those allegations, they came to you as part of a judicial committee already formed, is that right?
That's true.
So in hearing them and dealing with them, you didn't go through the step of a preliminary investigative process by two elders and then a report to the elders who then decided to form a judicial committee. You just subsumed it into the existing judicial committee, is that right?
I understand that's what happened.
Yes. And in the process then of that judicial committee, you questioned BCG about what she was alleging about her father, is that right?
That's true.
And you did that in the presence of her father?
Her father, when we were talking with BCG, it would have only been us as three elders talking with her.
So are you saying you did not require her to make those allegations also in the presence of her father?
At the time, from memory, she also faced BCH and made that accusation straight to him.
So in other words, it was in the presence of her father?
Yes, then it was, yes.
Yes. And that was part of your judicial committee?
That was part of our committee.
Right. And the father got aggressive, is that right?
He was quite angry at her.
And he had to be restrained?
I don't remember that at all.
If we go back in BCG's statement to paragraph 43. So firstly, she says at the first committee meeting, it was the case that there was more than one meeting with BCG in relation to these allegations, is that right?
Yes.
So she says at the first meeting, the elders sat me in a room at the Kingdom Hall and came in one at a time and asked me to tell them what had happened. Do you recall it like that?
I don't really recall that. All I recall is that we, as a committee, would have asked her in and to talk to the whole three of us there.
All right, so perhaps that's captured in the next sentence. After they came in together and asked me more questions. So, in other words, the three of you asked her questions.
The three of us asked her questions.
And then she said they repeated this process several times. Do you recall that?
No, but that possibly would be correct.
And she says, it felt like I was being interrogated and that the elders were trying to find inconsistencies in my story to catch me out. Would that be right?
I don't believe that's correct. As the three of us as elders there, we were also fathers. I have three daughters as well, and we felt sickened by what a father would do to his daughter. So when we were talking with BCG there, that's how we felt. Because we had known her for such a long time. She was like our family. So the way that we talked with BCG was to try to put her at ease, to help her to be able to really make it clear to us what exactly happened. So she'd feel comfortable to do that. So that's the view.
Mr. DeRoy, what sickened you?
That a father would do anything like that to his daughter.
Anything like what?
Abuse his daughter.
Abuse in what way?
In what way? Because my memory is so unclear from that long ago, I know already how I felt towards a father doing that to his children. So when the allegations were made, which I can't remember much of, as I said, a father doing that was not what a father should do.
So whilst you can't remember what it was exactly you were told, certainly it sickened you, is that right?
Yes.
It repulsed
you.
Yes,
that's that would be, for me as a father, I view it as despicable. So we, here we were as three family men, having someone who has been hurt by her father, and we felt very much for her. That's the way, how we feel.
So the allegations that were made to you then were serious allegations?
They were very serious allegations.
They were more than forcing a door open?
Well, I can't remember any more of that.
Well,
but they were serious enough, but because they were it was one person's word against another, regardless of whether we believed it, we could only go so far. So,
Did you believe it?
did I believe it? Yes.
So you believed it, you were sickened by it, but you couldn't do anything about it.
No. The Bible principle.
Do you think that's a fair position to end up in for a young lady who you say was abused in a way that sickened you?
No. But we are following well-established principle of that we've got to have, it cannot be just one witness.
What's the Bible reference that underpins that?
In Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15, Your Honour.
Do you remember it off by heart? What does it say?
I do. I've written it here. So
What does it say?
it talks about that she.
What does it actually say?
Can I look it up for you?
Yeah?
It reads there, no single witness may convict another for any error or any sin that he may commit. On the testimony of two witnesses or on the testimony of three witnesses, the matter should be established.
And what's the context for that discussion?
I would like to read it all right through to get the context. I'm sorry.
Well, we won't stop to do that now. But I understand where the Jehovah's Witnesses place their confidence, but do you accept that we have a true conflict between an understanding that we all have of human behaviour and, as you say, your capacity to believe that she was telling the truth, and what might be, by reason of adherence to that particular piece in the Bible, a conflict?
I put a lot of store by what that principle says, and I have a lot of store also to believe that other things will come out that would provide that, but on the ground of one person's word against another, we cannot act judicially any further.
No, but you appreciate the civil courts can.
Well, that's where there's a difference for the civil court then.
But do you appreciate the civil courts can?
On one person's word?
Yeah.
I'm not... I don't know about the civil court, Your Honour.
You don't know. What I'm trying to get to is whether you accept that there is a conflict between what the Bible's telling you and what your experience as a human being tells you about capacity to accept one person's word against another, based upon your own assessment of what they're saying.
I don't believe that's correct, Your Honour. I really believe that I was saying there, having one witness, you can't establish it beyond any doubt. You can't act on that. If you have another witness to something similar that that person has done, yes, then we've got two witnesses. But on the evidence of one, that's my understanding, is that we cannot act. And that's how I
Say that in the face of telling me that you believe what she told you,
yes.
even though at that point it was word on word.
Yes, we believed her.
So, Mr. Brewer, if within your own rules you couldn't act internally, if you believed her, what you could have done surely is to report her allegations to the authorities.
The other principle that very much would apply is that we're concerned about confidentiality and for the benefit of the victim. And we feel that, well, it was the victim's right then to go to the authorities to report that. Not our right.
Did you ask her whether you had her consent to take the matter to the authorities?
I have no recollection of that.
Did you encourage her and support her to enable her to take it to the authorities?
There's a few things perhaps in that answer, to answer that, because years later, when it went to court, I was very happy to be part of that arrangement to have him prosecuted. So we supported that well and truly. So whenever it was her decision to want to take it to court, we were behind her.
Well, that's quite a different time period and quite a different set of considerations. I'm dealing with the time of your judicial committee where you believed her in respect of very serious allegations that sickened you, yet the rules governing the way in which your judicial committee operate meant that you could not take any action internally with regard to the father, that is internal to the church. My question is, why did you not encourage her and support her then to take the matter to the authorities who could have acted without those restrictions?
Perhaps the only answer I could give was that if she had wanted to at that time, we would have supported her.
Well, isn't it the case that...
But it wasn't our... We weren't going...
Mr. Roy, I understand what you say about that, but tell me this, what would you do in a situation where if you had an allegation such as this against the father and the daughter, for understandable reasons, did not want to go to the police, she didn't want to make it a public trial, but you believed her and you therefore knew that this girl was in grave danger of further abuse by her father? What would you do if it was still just word on word, but you believed it?
Well, if I'm answering this correctly, Your Honour, from what we did actually do from that time, we straight away were able to make provision for her to get out of that home. So she was, I think, about 18 years of age at that time, but straight away we made provision for her to be out of the family, to be somewhere safe with another family. And she was there for a while, and so in that way, straight away we did act. So that we did believe her. We tried to protect her then.
That means separating this hypothetical daughter from any siblings and her mother, doesn't it?
It did at the time, yes.
Well, is that the right way to go? The girl hasn't committed an offence.
But she needed protection, and we were giving that protection by doing that.
Do you think that that's the right thing to do, as opposed to saying to the father, things have got to change as far as he's concerned?
Well, if he cared about her daughter, he would have made it a lot easier for her. I can't answer any more than that, Your Honour. But what we did at that time was trying to care for her, to get her out of that situation, and we saw that that was the best way to do that at that time. In a family that cared for her and looked after her, that would also give her the support that she needed until the time that she got married. So that was helping her.
I'd like to show you some manuscript notes. It's Exhibit 29-8. Mr. DeRoy, you're also being handed an unredacted copy of those notes. Now, I just before you look at the notes, Mr. Roy, I just want to say something I want you to understand. It's unredacted. In other words, there are a lot of names that appear there, and the effort you and I are going to make, because I've got the same copy, is to not mention the names. We can perhaps identify people by their relationships.
I'll try to do that.
Thank you. All right. Firstly, do you recognize these notes?
Well, I haven't seen them for
Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.